According to Kevin Bales, one of the main reasons slavery is so prevalent in the modern-day world is simply because of money. India is no exception, having an estimated 8 million people living in modern-day slavery. It is also ranked Tier 2 in the tier ranking from the US Department. Tier 2 means although they don't fully comply to TVPA standards, they are trying to reach that goal. The types of forced labor include sex slavery, domestic slavery, and bonded labor. Sex slavery is when anyone is forcibly involved in commercial sex act. Many times, people with tough economic situations are captured under false employment opportunities in major cities. After sex trafficking victims are caught, they might even face jail time for the criminal act of prostitution. NGOs estimate that there are 12,000 to 15,000 women and children trafficked into the country annually. Domestic slavery, on the other hand, is characterized as a practice of forcing someone to perform household tasks such as cooking, cleaning, and childcare. They may work 10 to 16 hours a day. They often have little to no pay. It's often unrecognized and mistaken for simply house help. Bonded labor, on the other hand, is when a person is forced to work to pay off debt. In most of the cases, all the money they earn working goes off into paying their loan. It's most common in places such as India because of the caste system. These discriminated groups have limited access to things like justice, education, and jobs, which in turn makes it difficult to get out of poverty. Although such practices are illegal in India, it is rarely enforced. To make matters worse, since the debt can be passed on to generation, kids are being forced to work off debt they had literally no say in. Through statistics, I have estimated that the profit generated by modern-day slaves in India is $8.5 billion annually. Free the Slaves is a perfect example of an organization fighting for change in India. They educate people in bondage about their rights. Once rescued, Free the Slaves help the children catch up in their missed schooling. Free the Slaves also supports Indian attorneys who specialize in human rights violations and help rescued slaves get in contact with them. Another organization also trying to inspire change in India is a local group named Samarthan, which means support in Hindi. They travel to villages and play a weekly radio program on ended bonded labor and awareness of human rights. This informs people what are their rights so they know when they're being violated. This group also gives them a cell phone number they can call when they are in distress. Simple acts like this is what helps contribute to the big change. The government of India is also stepping into action, having had a supposed significant progress in drafting national legislation to encompass more aspects of modern slavery. The draft they made is supposed to protect, prevent, and rehabilitate people who have been affected by slavery. It also calls for a special agency that will prosecute traffickers. The draft also proposes harsher penalties for traffickers. It would also allow victims who were not paid wages during their time in slavery to recover them. All this said action seems to be having an impact since Mumbai, an anti-slavery group, has sharply reduced its estimated of enslaved people in India from 18 million 2 years ago to 8 million as of 2018. Many are concerned this low number will be drilling the enormity of the problem by not giving the accurate figure. Basically, it gives the illusion that India is doing a good job, but the reality is unknown. The government also has means for giving such low numbers, since it can harm India's image and exports. The government of India has also been advised to discredit research into the country's modern-day slavery program. Fatima, who lives in India, has come out saying she was prostituted against her will to many men every day. She wasn't allowed to go out of her room and she was often beaten. Thankfully, a rescue team found the girls one night and took them to a shelter home. She was able to regain contact with her family and soon after went home. Trauma still haunted her everyday life as she went through deep depression. Fatima reported feeling cut off from the world. Her parents went later on to arrange her marriage to a man from a nearby village who was much older than her. This shows how even though one escapes the horror of slavery, the trauma sustained from the attack still occur. And how not just because they're not a slave anymore does that mean they're magically okay. Nasima Gain has a very similar story, having had been trafficked at age 14. She was celebrating a festival at a relative's home when she was abducted by a childhood friend. She was later taken to a dance bar and sold for sex. She was beaten and abused daily, until finally a tip-off led to her rescue. Nasima was consumed by guilt, often blaming herself for being trafficked. For more than a year after her rescue, she didn't speak to anyone and refused to meet friends and loved ones. So, how do we stop slavery and prevent cases like this? Surprisingly, there are a ton of options depending on how involved we want to be. There are a ton of organizations dedicated to helping slaves. With a little bit of research, we can find organizations to donate to, and with that little bit of money we give over time, it can truly add up. Also, if we suspect someone is being trafficked, it's our duty to take action. We should all be aware of the trafficking hotline in each of our countries for events like this. In order for us to truly put an end to slavery, we must educate ourselves on the topic. There are tons of big brands out there who use slaves. When we buy their products, we are fueling this practice and making them richer. We must educate ourselves which brands are known for using slaves so we don't give them our money. Only then, when we all take such actions, can we truly ensure that we end the horror of slavery.